let's talk about some of the basic number sets in math. Alright, so today we're going to talk about natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers. And these three things are sets. They are number sets used in math. So these three sets will contain specific numbers. Okay, so here is a number line. All right, let's talk about our first set, which is called natural numbers. A natural number is a number belonging to the set of positive counting numbers. A natural number is a number belonging to the set of positive counting numbers. Now you might wonder, what is a counting number? A counting number is one of the first numbers you learn back when you were 5 years old. So you probably started with the number 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you probably learn at some point up to 100. These are called counting numbers. These numbers are what everyone in the world uses to count basic things, or to count people. For example, if you're at a birthday party, you wanted to count how many people are there. Well, you count there's 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4, you would go up using these numbers here. Okay, so a natural number is positive. These are all positive, and they're counting numbers. So they do not have any decimals or fractions in between them. Okay, like you would not count, here's 1 and 1 1/3 person. That would not make sense. Okay, so these are the natural numbers. So on a number line, starts at 1 and includes all of these numbers that you see here, and the arrow means it continues infinitely. Okay, 11 up to the biggest number that you can think of. Natural numbers. Now, if we add 0, that would be a set called whole numbers. A whole number is a number belonging to the natural numbers set plus 0. Okay, so the whole number set is the natural numbers plus 0. So 0 is part of the whole number set. Okay, 0 is a whole number. However, 0 is not a natural number. The whole number set is the natural numbers plus 0. Okay. So this is our first set, our second set. Our third set is called integers. An integer is a number belonging to the set of whole numbers plus their opposites. Opposites meaning the negatives. So remember, a natural number must be positive. An integer can be these positive counting numbers plus their opposites, their negatives. So the integers would be this entire number line here. All of the positive counting numbers, all of the natural numbers, and 0, and the negative numbers. all of these are integers. So those are the three basic sets that we're going to look at. All right. So if we wanted to locate these integers, on the number line, it should be very easy. Okay, how about a -7, a -3, a 0, and an 8. Okay, if we wanted to locate these integers on the number line, where would they be? Well, let's start with -7. All of the negative integers are going to be to the left of 0. Okay, so -7 would just be 7 spaces away from 0. Right there, that's -7, right? -3, 3 spaces. Zero would be the middle, the center of the number line. And 8 is a positive number. It's a positive integer, so for positive numbers, I'm pretty sure you already know where those are, right? You're already familiar with the positives. So every integer has a location on the number line. Okay, hopefully this point right here is very easy to understand. All right. Now, I mentioned earlier that an integer is defined as a whole number and its opposite. The opposite meaning a negative number. So let's talk about this for a second here. Okay? If we were told find the opposite pair, find the negative, find the opposite pair for these numbers. -2, 5, and 9. Find the opposite pair for -2, 5, and 9. Where would their opposite pairs be? What would it be? Okay. So an opposite pair is going to be the negative of positive numbers and the positive of negative numbers. You're going to switch the signs. So the opposite pair, the opposite number for a -2, right, -2 is right here, would be a +2. Okay, so -2, you go 1, 2 to the left. So for the opposite number, you go to the right, 1, 2. What about for 5? 5 is right here, right? 5 spaces away from 0. So instead of going to the right by 5, we're going to go to the left by 5. And hopefully you've noticed the pattern, right? All we're doing is switching the signs. If it's a negative, we make it positive. If it's positive, make it negative. So what's the opposite number for 9? That would be -9. Okay, so 9 is right here. -9 would be here. A number and its opposite number. A number and its opposite pair form what is called a zero pair. So you might see this or hear this term, zero pair. It just means a number and its opposite number, zero pair. Okay, so 9 forms a zero pair with -9. 5 is a zero pair with a -5. So this is just another term you might hear. The last thing I want to talk about is that integers show up all the time in daily life. Okay, sometimes with math you might think, when am I going to use this? With integers and whole numbers and natural numbers, they show up all the time. So here are a couple of real life situations that could be represented with integers. For example, if you were making a bank deposit, okay, bank deposit, you might be depositing $100. A bank deposit of $100 could be represented with the integer 100. Right? And if it's a positive integer, you might say plus 100. Okay, you would literally see plus 100 on your bank statement if you deposited $100. They would actually say plus 100. There you go. So there's an integer. Or if you were diving. If you were diving in the ocean. So the ocean, say the ocean is 0 feet above sea level. Diving in the ocean. If you dove to 20 feet, a depth of 20 feet, you were diving down, that would be represented by a minus, a negative 20, right? Negative 20 feet. That would be an integer representing diving. What about a due date? You have something due in 2 days. Your current date could be represented as a negative 2. Right? If the due date is day 0, you have 2 days left. You're at negative 2 days before the deadline, for the due date. And lastly, another example is flying in an airplane. Ooh, let me try to change the color here. Flying in an airplane. If you're at 20,000 feet above the ground, you're in the air, 20,000 feet, that could be represented by an altitude of 20,000 feet. So integers show up in daily life all the time, and it's important that you understand especially how the negative integers work. Because negative numbers exist in daily life and daily situations very, very often. Okay, and we're going to talk about negative integers in a future video.